If I had the power to turn back time, I would have done it. Never wish to hurt someone you care about more than anything. How can I apologize to her? I ask you this question because I committed an unforgivable mistake and I don't know how to reverse it. My name is Lana. Wait until I tell you my story. Before we continue with the story, do not forget to click on the notification button in order to get notified at every new video posted. The beginnings of my school journey were particularly difficult. I came from a very poor family and I received a small grant from an NGO in my village, which enabled me to study in a private school in the capital. That's how I got my entry into St. Patrick's School, a private school full of kids who come from rich families. It was very difficult to make room for myself in the sun. I always had the rich kids at my back. They always had something to say about my appearance or my origins. It was always either my shoes that weren't good enough, my outfit that deserved to be thrown in the trash, or my backpack that wasn't nice enough. There was always something that was to be blamed for. My confidence had taken a huge hit, especially because of the little pest of Cassandra. Sorry to be vulgar, but just thinking about this girl still gives me allergies today. Oh, she was so mean. Since she was a student whose family had the most money at school, she thought she could do anything. Most of the time, she was the one leading the smear campaigns against me. One day in the middle of the term, I went to the school assembly like other students. I want to point out that majority of my belongings were low-end because of my parents didn't have enough means to buy expensive school furniture for me. So when at the assembly I got my pair of sneakers was wearing open under the eyes of all the students who were present. Cassandra did not fail to shame me in public and call me poor while emphasizing on the fact that I had no place in the school. I was so demoralized that I started crying uncontrollably. I broke down. My heart was broken with shame. That's when the one who today became my best friend, Leslie, intervened. Obviously, she was sick of seeing me being treated like shit, so she asked Cassandra to stop making fun of me. She also said with a lot of anger in her voice that one who deserved to be teasing was the one who was source of all the insults. She called Cassandra insecure because she needed to put others down in order to feel accepted. At the end of her speech, everyone was speechless. Even Cassandra didn't have enough courage to say a single word. And since that day, I have never been humiliated at school again. Eventually, Leslie became my best friend. We spent days and days together. I can't even count the amount of memories we both gathered. We had become so close that even did our homework together. She knew everything about me, and vice versa. We ended up graduating from high school and decided to go to the same university, where she went to medical school while I went to law school. Things continued to be complicated financially on my side, but fortunately she was still there to reach out to me. She managed to convince her dad to give me a part-time job in his company, and that's how I was able to take care of myself financially throughout my schooling. I had a job as an assistant in his company, and it was pretty well paid, to this point where I was able to treat myself to little treats and even buy myself a second-hand car, which was uncommon for a student of my social status. I didn't even have words to express my gratitude to Leslie, who had become not only a friend but a sister to me. I spent Christmas holidays at her family's, and she came to visit me in my town every Easter holiday when I returned to my parents. At the end of our studies, she became a general practitioner while waiting for specialization, and I became a lawyer. I was now working at my own account, the dream of a lifetime. But my new social status didn't separate me from my best friend. We were also more united than ever. Despite our now tight schedules, we often made effort to go out twice a month just to have fun. Each time with either shopping, had a movie night, or even going to a restaurant. It was a way for us to meet physically and tell each other the gossip that we couldn't explain in detail on phone. On Saturday, during one of our meetings, we spontaneously decided to go on a nightclub. It had been a really long time since we danced. She and I then took the initiative to look for outfits suitable for the evening. In the club that night, she met her husband Ben, a nice, polite, and above all considerate man. I saw their relationship grow, and to be honest, I was very happy for my best friend. She deserved all the happiness in the world, especially thanks to her golden heart. I was there when he asked for her hand in marriage. I even participated in the organization of her proposal. I helped during the errands of her marriage, and I had the honor of being the best man. On the D-Day, I was a member of the organizing committee, just to tell you how much I was involved in their couple. None of this, however, predicts how I did to her. I still feel guilty today. I borrowed a printer from Leslie. It was during a period when I had an important trial to prepare. My printer was damaged, and I didn't have enough time to shop around to buy a new one. So I naturally contacted Leslie by phone to ask her if she could lend me hers. She said yes, so the next day at 6:30 a.m., I went to her house before going to the office, and I picked up the printer. Time passed by and my trial ended. Then time came to return the printer to its owner. And since I could go to Leslie's without warning, I went. Once there, I rang and it was Ben who came and opened the door. I made him understand what I had come to do, and he politely asked me to come in for a coffee. We talked for 20 to 25 minutes, and since it was Friday, he offered me a shot of vodka while waiting for Leslie to come so we could go clubbing. We got down several drinks, and time passed without Leslie coming home. We were starting to get drunk, and things got out of hand between us without wanting it. The effect of alcohol made us lose control. Once finished, guilt took hold of me, and I left the house without saying anything. For more than a week, I avoided messages and calls from Leslie. I knew her husband hadn't told her anything. Otherwise, she would have confronted me about it. But it hurt to know that I did such a thing to her when all she was offering to me was her friendship. Weeks passed, and despite the repetitive messages from Leslie, I still hadn't replied. The last message to date was the one where she told me she was going to Paris for a month-long vacation. Still without leaving an answer, I went on with my little life. A few days later at my office, I received a call from my assistant telling me someone was looking for me at the waiting room. I went to see who it was, and to my surprise, it was Ben, Leslie's husband. In contact with his gaze, I felt the same discomfort as the evening when everything changed between us. I wanted to leave, but he held my hand. He insisted that I stay to listen to what he had to say, which I did with great reluctance. He told me that despite the fact that what happened between us was bad, he wanted us to continue. He told me that he understood my respect and love for Leslie, and because of that, the feeling of gratitude that I had for her, he would respect my choice to keep it a secret. The reality is that what happened between us did not displease me at all. The only thing that bothered me was the fact that Ben was Leslie's husband. I immediately seized the opportunity to start a thrilling adventure, and I accepted his proposal. During the following weeks, we went out several times. We have grown this adulterous relationship between us. We're spinning the perfect love, and I must admit that I was aware of the place I had in his life, and that was fine with me. When Leslie returned, I explained the reason for my silence. I had to lie to her. I told her that I was avoiding her because of the pressure at work, a great classic, and she believed me. Well, everyone knows how restrictive the profession of a lawyer can be. I kept seeing Ben on the sly, and our outings became little adventures, and that spiced up things between us. I should have known that this little magic feeling that our relationship brought to me would have ended up rotting my conscience. A week ago, after suffering so many relapses of unexplained illnesses, I took the initiative to see a doctor to find out what was going on. That's when I found out that I was pregnant. The father is none other than Ben. I spoke to him about it, and he was over the moon. He offered me to make our relationship public and to live together. He also made me understand that he wants to live all the precious moments of this pregnancy until the baby's birth with me. When I asked him what he would do about Leslie, he told me that he was putting me as a priority. Just yesterday, I had him on the phone, and he told me that he is about to start paperwork for divorce. I am full of remorse. I, who thought I was just living an ephemeral adventure, finds myself on the point of breaking up my sister's home. What would you do in my place? Would you tell Leslie the truth? Would you get rid of this pregnancy and act like nothing happened? Or would you choose to continue the relationship with Ben, but by running away very, very far? Tell me, I am lost.